I've been doing some reflecting on what it means to be a part of a team, to be a part of a collective of individuals pushing towards a common goal. What does it require? What are the things that powerful teams have that not so powerful teams don't? I'll start off with the goal. The goal of a team tends to be set by usually one person or a group of people that believe that their objective is one that everyone in the team can actually benefit from. If we don't have a sense of vision, a sense of direction, in which one person at least in the very beginning wants to push to the nth degree, to surpass any obstacle, to persist through any sort of nuisance, the charisma, the character, and the persistence of the team will fall. Teams require role models. They require A players. They require people that are steering the boat. If you get seasick, you can't ride the boat. You can't steer it. It's a quote from Nas. But this is a very, very important thing that actually Simon Sinek talks about a lot, is the why behind what we do. Why do we do the things that we do in our life? Why even form a team? Why do we need more hands on deck? Because we can't do everything alone. And that is something that I have been trying to figure out for years, organizing student organizations, going to nonprofit organizations, trying to figure out business strategies, what have you. All of it requires a collective of people. There are very few things in this life that end up reaching a larger caliber that can be done by one person. And the reason is because one person can only persist so much. The irony of having an individual steer the boat is that the individual still needs to eat. The individual still needs to breathe and sleep. And if the boat is to ride through the night, it cannot be done with one person. It is simply a metaphor for the fact that even the steerer of the boat, the person with the vision, they will require help in terms of maintaining it. There was a quote I came across when I was making a poster for a community to help clean up some of the trash in the city environment. Your community often believes more in you in times of despair than you do in yourself. And I think it's very important to internalize that lesson if we do intend to steer the boat. Because it tells us to invest. It tells us to invest in the people that are keeping us fed or allowing us time to sleep, or maybe checking on what's going on, the waves or below the water. I suppose I don't have to carry this metaphor too much further for you to understand. It's very, very important to have teams. And not only a team just as people, as individuals, but really as reliable pieces of the equation. In fact, so much so that we need to believe that the people that we're involving in our team will actually make our vision stronger, to the point where their creativity, their pursuit, their thoughts, their philosophy, everything matters. It's just a matter of accessing it. So I haven't worked too many jobs in my life. I've had the luxury of sitting and thinking and going to school and doing this and that. But I've realized that any time I've been in a position where I am on a team, I tend to thrive. And the reason is because I'm genuinely interested in people. I'm genuinely interested in the potential of people. This is why I made this channel. The potential of people needs to be savored by the driver of the boat. Otherwise, driving the boat gets pretty damn boring. And I think this is something that we lose sight of despite driving, or maybe not even, maybe just being a crew hand. Right? The importance of realizing people's potential comes down to a human basis, an individual situation. You think to yourself, as a worker, as a cog in the machine, or the machine as a whole, needs to have a culture of appreciating people's ideas, making people feel respected. Because otherwise, the machine breaks. And it breaks slowly. It corrodes over time. It destroys the soul of each of the little pieces in it. And this is the type of thing that I'm trying to fight against in the philosophy of Tarabify, because I believe humanity in itself is a massive machine. Now this is going to get a little deeper, so bear with me. If we believe in the potential of each stranger that we meet, the world will be a better place. And I'll tell you the wisdom of this, the wisdom in actually believing in strangers. The reality is, most of the opportunities that come to our life, most of the things that make us savor our life, are because of people. They're because of other organisms, not us, from external stimulus. Obviously, it's our job to go out and get it, but we need to believe that going out and getting it is worth our time. All of the business advice, all of the real estate advice, all of the spiritual advice, all of anything that I've heard that is vaguely wise in life comes down to appreciating life and thus appreciating other people. And teams are no different. Because if we show people that their ideas actually matter, hopefully they're like, semi-legitimate ideas, hopefully it's not like ridiculous, there's an immense power in that, because then people come to work, people come to that routine with a sense of invigoration. They think to themselves, oh my goodness, not only do I get to go and make money, but my ideas are cherished and they actually transform the world around me. An empowering feeling for any person, any human being. And I was listening to a podcast with Andrew Huberman and my man Adam Grant, and they were talking about how kids actually need that too. Kids need to feel like they're involved in the process. They need to feel like their parents are actually getting advice from them, because otherwise they're just a passive bystander in the very system that they exist in. Not a very pleasing thought for any real individual, for anyone, any human really. We have this need to belong, to fit in, and to contribute. There are very, very few of us that can get away with living a life that isn't that way without feeling incredibly sad or unsatisfied. The other thing about our team, besides the vision, besides the compassion, there's a sense of unity. We must try to build one another. At the end of the day, the team is a small part of everyone's life. It may be a bubble of sorts that we enter and are soon meant to exit. And it's my belief that the strongest teams in the world, the strongest forces of change in the world, plant seeds, plant ideas into the minds of the people that partake in these teams. But I think it comes down to each person to first and foremost believe in one another, but also to spend some time outside of the team building themselves up. And that's what I talk about all the time here. As you probably know if you've been watching the videos for a while, there's immense importance in trying to understand ourselves before we go and try to impose our philosophies or our views of the world or our ideals onto other people, onto other things. The reality is that if we don't understand at least that every philosophy can have a negative effect on an environment, a situation, or people, then we will assume that everything that comes out of our mouth is absolutely brilliant, and that's generally not the case. It's never the case, because we're usually wrong. In fact, part of the reason I made this channel is to make it a journal of the evolution of my philosophy in this planet. And hopefully you guys find it vaguely interesting. And if you do, smash that thumbs up button. Helps me out a lot. Throw me a comment on how managing teams has gone for you, and perhaps something that I've missed about teams. I would love to learn from you. And if you have some time, check out this tree. It's actually a video that I made a long time ago about culture and the importance of it. Got a lot more thoughts on this type of thing. I might make another video about it. Actualize your potential, my friend. This world needs you. Take care.